So if we look at smart buildings, you're all very familiar with the left-hand side of the diagram there. Legacy systems, closed protocols, organic growth and needs-based systems. Not talking to each other, but requiring some kind of manual management and quite a lot of skill there to put those together. But what we're seeing now is much more of an integrated control of that network. A central nervous system, if you like, both wired and wireless. It gives flexibility of control, but more importantly, we're taking quality data feedback and turning that into intelligence. So we're using the Internet of Things, we're using artificial intelligence, we're using analytics to turn it into real intelligence to assist building managers and facilities managers, occupancy planners, and also building designers. We're taking advantage of the sensor technology that's behind the scenes there. And these are just a few examples of sensors that are available. The rapidly multiplying availability of inexpensive and reliable sensors exploiting the Internet of Things means that it is much easier to measure activities and measure performance. If you think of a parameter, there is probably a sensor. Just an example here for occupancy management. You can see in this room, it's not only a myriad of sensors monitoring the environment that people are operating in, but actually what they're doing within that environment. It's monitoring when they're going in and out, it's monitoring when they're sitting at a desk, it's monitoring what they do in the place. So, within a single meeting room event, we are able to collect, analyse and manage that information more than we ever have before. Not only to improve the direct service in real time if required, but also monitor performance behind the scenes and inform future events on how to improve things using the artificial intelligence. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there's a lot of asset management activity going on. And obviously we're moving from left to right here in terms of what's happening, but how many times do we end up at the moment running equipment to fail or fixing it when it fails at enormous cost, and also having consumed a lot of energy in the process? Well, we're now in the place where we're moving beyond planned maintenance activities dictated by OEMs, although that has its place, absolutely. But we are moving much more to predictive and reliability-centered maintenance. It's based on real-time usage monitoring. It's comparing it with all the other similar equipments around the world that are operated. It's based on condition assessments and criticality. So it's enabling us to intercept any potential failure much earlier in the process. It not only helps with operational activity, but it also helps inform the CapEx process as to when a client decides they're going to replace an asset. Because obviously they can now see just when that end of the bathtub curve is starting to rise and intercept it early. So to use that, JLL have a system called IntelliCommand. It's complementary to the previous system, it's not a replacement for it, for energy, asset and environmental monitoring. And it can manage all those parameters. The great thing is that with the advent of 5G, it's allowed us to have a step change in the solutions that we are going to be able to offer. It's configurable and it's scalable. From the traditional large fixed sites that we operate now, whether commercial spaces, industrial sites, data centres, whatever, through to remote small sites that would never have had this level of sophistication before. We no longer need fixed comms. So we can inform users, We can inform the facilities managers. We can create alerts when things are starting to go wrong. And we can even link it to our CMMS systems to generate work orders for our own technicians or our vendors. So the future is already here. What we're doing through Smarter FM is enabling choices for people around how they interface, where they interface, when they interface with others. We're also enabling productivity by removing barriers to creating value for individuals and their businesses. And there was a piece of research, again done by JLL, it's called the 33300, perhaps we might go into a panel discussion, Tony, about the value and savings that can be generated from dealing with utilities management, dealing with rent arrangements, or making productivity gains. And finally, acceleration of automation and robotics. What we're doing and what we're seeing right across the industry is a movement towards taking the routine, mundane activity away from the manual mode and into an automatic or semi-automatic mode. And in terms of robotics, we've seen robot cleaners around our houses. We're now seeing robot cleaners in the work environment. We're also seeing robots involved in spares distribution, mail distribution and the like. So it is all happening right now, and will only accelerate. So what does this mean for us? It means we need to, as facility managers, we need to focus on products that enhance the human experience and really helps unleash the creativity and productivity, not only of users of those environments, but also of our own teams. I would suggest that our own teams involved in facilities management at the moment know their job and how it can be improved far more than we can. So let's unleash their ability to deliver on that. We do need to level up education and training. As we move into this environment, people have got to become more sophisticated about how to manage the equipment, but also to interpret the data and analyse it. And I think we're going to see a lot more data analytics within the FM industry shortly. And finally, the integration with the wider real estate cycle. Facilities management is only one small part of the real estate cycle. But with the information that we are able to generate from all this data that we're able to gather, we can start to inform future building designs, and also, at what point do we start to think about refurbishment or rework of buildings. However, as always, there are areas of caution. Cybersecurity and penetration of systems. We should never underestimate how malicious people can be, and people will try and break into systems just because they can. It doesn't need to be a state actor, or it doesn't need to be a criminal. People do it because it's a challenge. So we need to make sure that our cybersecurity protocols are very, very robust. Secondly, and again we might come on to this in the panel discussion, around data standards and data quality and data governance. If we don't have robust and consistent standards in place, whatever we produce will be useless. We have to have consistency across the piece so we can actually utilise that data and turn it into actionable intelligence. Thirdly, an over-dependence on AI. It might seem a bit strange that I've said we've got it there, but we shouldn't over-depend on it. AI is becoming incredibly sophisticated, and more so as the days go on. It can do things much faster than any human can in certain areas. However, it still operates at the moment rules created by humans, and it is not yet infallible. And I think Jack Ma said the other day at the AI conference in Shanghai that humans have created robots, but he's never seen a robot create a human. And finally, on skill shortages, do we have the right skill sets in our industry, or do we need to look at bringing different skill sets into the FM industry? Do we have the right pool of talent, and are we looking in the right areas for young talent to come into the FM industry? And indeed, do they want to work in facilities management? Having said all that, I believe we've got a very exciting future in Smart FM. I'm delighted and privileged to be a part of it and helping to shape the discussion. I thank you very much for your attention this afternoon, and I think we're moving on to our next speaker shortly. Thank you very much indeed.